Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name's Tim, call sign M0KEP, and today I'm going to start looking at the electromagnetic spectrum. I'm going to go on a mission to try and listen to or detect signals across as much of the spectrum as possible. And I'm going to start with long wave. Long wave, or long frequency, is defined as the frequency range from 30 kilohertz to 300 kilohertz. Okay, so Clint is joining me today. M0OXF is amateur radio call sign. He runs the Oxford shortwave log, and what he doesn't know about shortwave radio isn't worth knowing, or so he tells me anyway. Hi Clint, how are you?
Hi Tim, you okay?
Yeah, good. Very good, thank you. I've got this radio set up here, and I'm tuning around basically, and I don't know anything about what's on these shortwave frequencies, and I was hoping you'd be able to give me a run through on what we can find and what stations we come across.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, so you're on 60 kilohertz, and what you can hear is the National Physics Laboratory time signal. I'm going to say it's near Teddington. That might be completely wrong, but I've heard them before. I've heard the signal before. There's some other stuff down. There's some military signals, naval signals. There's a transmitter that operates from Iceland on 30 kilohertz for the United States Navy, which is a decent signal on a magnetic loop. I know you're using.
Yeah, mine's not going to be good enough, is it?
It probably won't be, but you might actually see. You might see more than you can actually demodulate.
I have a bit of a problem tuning my radio at this low down as well.
Just 30.
Soon as
I mean it's all encrypted anyway, but you can see the signal quite clearly on the spectrum with a mag loop. But
nothing.
The signal from the NPL on 60 kilohertz actually looks pretty reasonable to me. That's pretty similar to how I would copy it with my ELAD FDM Duo and a mag loop. A little bit more difficult is if you go up to 66 kilohertz. I think it's 66.6 actually. There's RBU, which is a time signal. Yeah, there you go.
Something's there.
Yeah, that's time signal from Moscow.
66 tuned up there.
Yeah.
Finger trouble on it. As soon as we get above 100 kilohertz, we'll be okay. For some reason, this software is buggy, and it's really, honestly, it's not just my fingers. Well, at least I hope not.
I'm just going to tell you what I'm going to do.
Yeah, nothing there. So we're on CW mode.
To
pick this up. Why are we on CW to listen to these signals then?
Well, they're just very narrow, basically. I mean, you can probably still demodulate them on sideband, but I tend to use CW. I can't remember actually with the RBU signal on 66.6 kilohertz. I've copied it before, but I've got like 4,000. Yeah, it's 66.66. I think if you can zoom in, I'm just looking at how I've copied it in the past. 66.6.
66. Yeah, there's something there. It's a bit hard to tell whether that's some local
I think it's because you're
noise.
using a long wire, which isn't going to work particularly well. If you got to 75, there's another time signal, but you may not. 75 was a bit stronger with me. Yeah, no, there's not. I don't think there's anything there. So,
nothing.
But anyway, with something like a mag loop, there's quite a lot of interesting stuff below the bottom of the broadcast band on long wave, which
what's that there? 77.5. I got something.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's it. That might be the one then. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah. 77.5. In fact, if you wait there 1 second, I'm going to check on my. Hang on. Yeah, that's right. 77.5 kilohertz. It's a signal DCF, and it's from Mainflingen, which I'm guessing is in Germany. That could be wrong, but that's a big signal on my mag loop. But you've got it there.
Well, what's a DCF then? Is that
Yeah, I think I'm not sure, to be honest with you. You have to look it up. But if you I'll tell you what,
what I'll
me
do? I'll put a link on the YouTube video to some information about what these signals are. So that's a time signal. So a DCF time signal.
I think it's a time signal. Hang on a second.
Sounds a bit like the MPL one. Just kind of.
Yeah, exactly. There's quite a lot of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of utility stuff and sort of naval signals. I mean, but when you get down to sort of like 30 kilohertz, there's that signal, that United States Navy signal. The transmitters are in Iceland. I mean, when you think of 30 kilohertz, you think of low frequency. You think of submarine comms. They use very low frequencies. Obviously, signal has to pass through water, etc. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's incredible.
yeah, exactly. So if you just keep scanning up in frequency, eventually you'll come to 153 kilohertz.
Oh, let's keep going up.
Just
Shall I,
keep going up.
let me
I mean,
zoom out. Zoom
some
in a
of the
little
other
bit more
stuff.
on this. Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's some other stuff that you'd need to sort of reference what some of these signals are.
Oh, something else there about
So the
89.
89, yeah,
Well, could be noise though. That looks
yeah,
like some sort of interference. I'm
yeah,
just
could be.
gonna. Ooh, sounds like an alien. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's some sort of interference.
yeah, I think so.
Right, I'm gonna just zoom it a bit more. So what I'm doing now is just changing the frequency scale, just so we've got
Yeah,
a bit more frequencies on there. This is much wider now. This upper sideband signal. But I'm gonna set that to 3 kilohertz. Let's carry on. So we can get we'll get the full audio bandwidth of where we can hear exactly what we're looking at. Basically, is what I'm saying. Got 3 kilohertz
yeah,
bandwidth. So there's 100. Probably still a load of noise my end.
yeah.
Yeah, that didn't. Oh, that could be noise, I suppose. Just a carrier.
Yeah, just carry. Yeah.
Oh no, something happened. Did you see that? But I bet it's.
Oh, that's a RTTY. Oh, that's
Yeah, it
going
is.
from a carrier to a RTTY.
In fact, there's
Yeah,
two right next to each other
yeah,
doing the same thing.
yeah. See, there's some spurious stuff down here that kind of comes and goes. You tune through below the bottom of the meter of the long wave broadcast band, and you'll hear stuff that in the next night it won't be there. So there you go. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
pulsing sort of RTTY and then going back to a carrier.
Again, RTTY. So as we're talking about these modes, I'm going to put some links up on the YouTube video of more information about what they are. And a lot
Yeah.
of these that we'll be looking at, I guess I could decode it on the computer somehow using some sort of software.
Yeah, I've decoded RTTY and Navtex. So it's quite easy to do. So if you go to 153 AM, go back to 153 dead, which is that
153.
there you go.
Oh
153
yeah.
AM.
Just go on AM.
You want about, I don't know, what bandwidth are you using? Audio filter bandwidth. There you go, 153.
I'm on 12K.
Yeah, that's too
So-
wide. Go down to about 6.
Oh yeah, I can just hear it. I'm narrowing it down just to get rid of it. Oh, no, it's too much.
Yeah, you want to go between 4 and 6. So that is Radio Antenna Satelor in Romania. So that in Brazov is the transmitter site, and that is the lowest frequency broadcast station anywhere on the bands. That's basically where it all starts, right at the bottom of the long wave broadcast band on 153. And many years ago, there used to be lots of stations on long wave, particularly lots of Russian stations. Obviously, Russian being a country with the largest land area in the world, used to use long wave across the whole country. But they shut them all down about, I can't remember, a few years ago, 10 years ago, and now it, as did a lot of other stations. But yeah, so that's Radio Antenna Satelor in Romania, and with like a mag loop, or obviously having a resonant antenna at 153 kilohertz would be slightly problematic because it'd be about 2 kilometers long. I can't remember, but something like a broadband mag loop, you can hear that station at times quite well during the day even. So always hear it well at night. So it's there. I can hear some audio. I hear some music.
Yeah, it's just a bit of audio at the moment. Some funny little blip keeps popping up there, which is low.
Yeah, I mean, it would be louder. Obviously, the antenna using a long wire is not sort of completely ideal, but you've got a signal there. With a really good with a decent portable, you can hear that station. With the internal ferrite. But you're copying it okay. So that station is basically the start of the broadcast of the long wave broadcast band.
I've got a portable actually.
Have you?
Oh, so yes, try it. Oops. That's the extent of my portable.
Tell you what, I'll get one. Let me get one of mine and see if I can. I mean, it's always going to be a bit of a challenge indoors, because of sort of QRM and what have you. But let me just get one of my portables as well.
That's the alarm. How do I turn this on? I don't think this radio goes down low enough on this little thing I've got.
I've got faint audio. I've got audio with this, which is the sort of circa 1984 Sony ICF 2001D. This is kind of like regarded as probably the best portable shortwave receiver of all time. I've got weak audio, but it's primarily because of, signal to noise. When you're trying to sort of listen to these stations indoors, the noise floor is obviously going to be a lot higher than it is when I'm out in the countryside, sat in the middle of the wood like I used to do. So, but the fact that you've got signal there, you've got half decent audio. I mean, it's certainly not bad. So that's 153. So that's, like I said, that's the lowest frequency broadcast station on any of the bands. So that's basically where all the broadcast stuff starts on 153. And if you go up, I think it's 162, you'll probably have a signal. You've got a lump of noise there between 153 and 162, which I don't have here. So that's local to you. So I've never seen that. So that big lump of noise there is something local to you. 162 was a broadcast station in France. They closed down a couple of years ago, so they stopped transmitting, and now it's just a time signal.
I can see a carrier there.
Exactly.
Just go on CW.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is probably it, that carrier.
I think it's Alois. It's in France, basically. So.
But you can hear it, it's like some sort of phase changing, it's like a little warble.
Yeah. I hear that station so strongly that I can actually hear reflections of other stations on 162. It sort of sounds like it's in the background, but it's now just basically a time signal.
I just, I don't know if this is the best way of doing it, but when there's an AM signal which is close to some noise or another station, quite often I go onto upper sideband and just listen.
Yeah,
so the upper sideband is like the kind of the best way of getting things out of the noise if you can.
Particularly when
Or lower sideband if it's the other way around.
yeah. I
I
mean,
noticed that.
tonight
Yeah.
we'll just do long wave, but when we do medium wave, if we step late enough so that we can hear some sort of transatlantic DX. I mean, a good example of that. One of the easiest stations to listen to on medium wave is Voice of the Common Man (VOCM) from Newfoundland and Labrador, St John's. It's on 590 kilohertz. There's a Spanish station a couple of kilohertz away from it on a slightly, therefore on a slightly lower frequency, on sort of 588 or 587, and you get a lot of splatter. So you nearly always have to listen to that station on upper sideband. But if you hear it on upper sideband, it can be booming in. So even though it's an AM signal, if you're DXing in a noisy band using SSB is sort of standard. So yeah. So that's 162. So the next, I mean, there's some. I mean, Mongolia. You're not going to hear that with that setup. On one, they broadcast on 3 frequencies on long wave. I've copied them once or twice. That's like the holy grail of DXing, hearing Mongolia on long wave, and I've been lucky enough to do it. But if you go to, if we ignore the Mongolia for now, if you go to 171 kilohertz, so go to 171 dead, you should hear. Yeah, if you set your audio filter bandwidth to about 4 kilohertz, something like that.
Yeah, just done the 4 there.
You should hear some audio.
I can hear a murmur, but it's going to be my bad antenna again, probably.
I think so. So if I go and listen to that station on my ELAD now with the mag loop, I'll be able to copy the audio no problem. And this is another station actually that with a kind of more tuned setup, or with a wideband antenna, you can copy that station not so badly even during the day. So that's 171. So that's Mediterranean 1 in Nador, Morocco. So that's the station in Morocco.
I'm just going to actually enter that. So I call that what?
Medi 1, M-E-D-I, Medi 1, yeah.
Medi 1.
Yeah.
Morocco.
I'm just going to see if I can hear it on my ELAD. One sec, hang on a second.
There we go. Should have done that on those other stations. What's that there? Well, Clint's not here. So. Is that 153 dead? I'll find out what that was again.
Yeah, so on my ELAD with the Wellbrook loop, obviously it's Morocco, so it's French speaking. It's S9 with me here.
Wow, okay. So if I want to do some shortwave DX, I need to get a better antenna, don't I?
I think so, yeah. So that's what I'm talking about in Nador, Morocco, is S9. So 153 is Antenna Satellor, and that's antenna spelled A-N-T-E-N-A, Antenna Satellor, S-A-T-E-L-O-R, Brazil, Romania.
I'm struggling to find the memory button again now. Where did I find? There it is. Good grief. Sorry, could you spell it again, please, Clint?
Yeah, antenna is A-N-T-E-N-A.
Oh, N-A.
Yeah, Satellor, S-A-T-E-L-O-R, Antenna Satellor. I think it kind of means like countryside radio or something, because it's all rural radio or something like that. So, but the transmitter site is Brazov, Bravo, Romeo, Alpha, Sierra, Oscar, Victor, Brazov, Romania. So that's right at the basement of broadcasting of actual.
Is there
amateur.
any way of looking all this up, by the way? So for those of us who haven't got a memory like yours, can we go and find it easily?
Called Medium Wave List. You can look them up on the website, but there's a website called Medium Wave List, and you can it's got all the frequencies for the long wave and medium wave starting down at the bottom of long wave. And if you click on 153 kilohertz, it'll tell you what's on there, 153. Then it will click up to the next frequency, etc., etc. So you can find them all on there.
Yeah, there we go. Brilliant.
Yeah.
mwlist.org.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So if you click on 153 kilohertz, probably all you're going to find
sorry,
is
I'll go back there.
go back to it and click on 153 kilohertz.
In this list here.
Yeah, it'll be at the top somewhere. Right at the top.
153, isn't it? Great, yeah.
Free, yeah. If you click there, you'll probably and then scroll down. It's probably only Antenna Satellor that's listed.
Yeah. SRR Antenna Satellor.
Yeah.
It does say there's ALG of China, so the Romania. So ALG, what's that?
Algeria.
Algeria.
Yeah.
So there's something there as well at certain times.
Yeah. I think Algeria they sort of go, they come on and they go off again. They also broadcast on 252, same frequency as Ireland do. Yeah. So those are the two. So Antenna Satellor 153, and then Medi 1, Morocco 171. The next thing you're likely to hear is Iceland on 189. But that, in fact, I can see it from here. It's just left of that. There you go. So if you go to 189, go lower sideband. Yeah. About 2.8 kilohertz. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, and then obviously that. Okay, so that's with the antenna you've got. That's not unexpected. And then that great big signal next to it is Radio 4 on 198.
Oh yeah, I've got that programmed in. The AM. Yeah. Big wide band thing as well there.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yeah, and then the next signal that you're going to hear is Iceland again on 207. But go up a sideband again. So try 207. So 207 up a sideband.
Oh, no, nothing again.
No, okay.
Need a decent antenna. Well, I can see there's like a carrier there, but
yeah.
No, not getting the audio through.
No, exactly. And then 225 kilohertz is Polski radio. 225 AM. Go back to AM.
I could hear a murmur in the background.
Yeah, I mean, over here that would be a loud signal, but you've got it there. It's there. So that's 225, and that's Polski radio, and then the next signal I think is 234.
I can hear one.
Yeah. Well, that's much wider. You can see you need to go much wider with your audio filter bandwidth.
Yeah, if I go any wider, I'm going to get into these noise peaks.
Yeah. Exactly.
This stuff, I guess, is probably things in my shack that I haven't really looked at to get rid of noise, like my computer monitors and probably other rubbish that's on.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's RTL, so that's obviously French. I think it's actually Luxembourg. That's RTL French, the last sort of French station. So it's French-speaking station on the wave. So 234 kilohertz RTL Luxembourg. And then the next station is 252, and depending on propagation, you're either going to hear Ireland.
Sorry, what was that frequency again, Clint? Sorry.
252. That's the next big signal you can see.
Oh yeah.
You can probably hear them mixing actually. It's Algeria back on air. In fact, I think I can hear music, which I think is probably Ireland. And I can hear audio speech in the background.
Yeah.
Mixing. So that's Ireland and Algeria mixing on the same frequency.
So I guess the coverage is meant to be for in Ireland. The signal will be so strong that station will never.
Well, it's interesting
overcome
actually
it.
because that station in Ireland on Longway was actually designed for expats, Irish expats living in the UK. Is what that station's for, and they've been talking about closing it down for quite a long time. And there's every time they Irish expats living in this country went up in arms about it. So they've talked about closing it down, but they've never gotten around to it. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you've got Algeria in the background and RTE Radio 1 from Ireland in the foreground, but you do quite often hear them mixing, and that's basically it. There was a Czechoslovakian station on 270 kilohertz, which closed down on New Year's Eve. In fact, I recorded it. Actually, its last ever transmission, I think it was New Year's Eve. Effectively radio journal in Czechoslovakia, and there's a station on 279 kilohertz in Turkmenistan. I've never really got to the bottom of whether it's still. Used to be able to hear it weekly. I haven't heard it for a long time, so I never really got to the bottom of whether it's on air or not. But apart from that, that's basically everything that you're going to hear on Longwave. And yeah, as I said, obviously with a different antenna, you're going to hear what you can hear now. You're going to hear, obviously, it's going to be a lot stronger, and stuff like Iceland on 189 and 207, effectively adjacent to the big Radio 4 signal on 198 kilohertz. You're going to be able to hear those quite well when propagation's good, or when conditions are good.
Well, that's fantastic. So, I've definitely learnt what stations are around there. I've learnt I need to get a better antenna if I want to listen to any of them.
Yeah. It applies also for medium wave, and shortwave's a bit different, obviously. But something like a mag loop, if you just for listening, obviously they're very directional, below about 2 megahertz. So if you've got a particular lump of noise on the spectrum that's affecting a signal you want to listen to, obviously you can rotate a mag loop, and they're very directional below 2 megahertz. They're still directional above 2 megahertz. They're directional. They are also directional on the shortwave bands as well, to a lesser extent. And the beauty of it, of course, is that they don't take up much space. They're very compact and obviously very wideband. I've got two Wellbrooks, and I can't remember, but I know they top out at 30 megahertz, but I think they start at like 10 kilohertz or something like that. I can't remember. But yeah. Brilliant antenna just for some sort of casual, monitoring, DXing on the lower frequencies.
Well, thanks a lot, Clint. That's
all right,
fantastic, and I look forward to doing the medium wave, and hopefully my antenna will pick up a little bit of top band, the amateur band, so that's almost down on the medium wave. So hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
we'll pick up a bit more stations.
If we do a video on medium wave, if you want to hear some, what would be good would be to try and hear some transatlantic DX. But we'll probably have to do that a little bit later. It might work now actually, but we might have to do that a bit later if you want to hear some transatlantic. But having a tune around on top band late in the evening can be a lot of fun, because you get, there's 1933 net and several others, and just sitting around and listening to those guys talk about a lot of stuff can be quite entertaining.
Thanks very much for watching, and please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.